What is up, guys? It is Kitsos from Coasterland, and today we are ranking all 10, yes, all 10 of Busch Gardens Tampa's roller coasters. This is an elite park with a great atmosphere, great roller coasters, and great staff as well. So basically, we're gonna really take a good look at each of these coasters, and without further ado, I think we should just dive in. So kicking things right off with number 10, we have Air Grover, a Sierra Kids coaster located in the Sesame Street area of the park. This coaster is a decent kids coaster with a few moments of actual force that have been typical of most Sierra Kids coaster models, especially the larger ones. Despite having some decent force, it is in fact a kids ride, and I cannot justify putting it above anything else in the park.
This makes Chica look like a grape. This thing is so awesome. Who needs Cheetah Hunt? Who needs Chica? Who needs Iron Gwazi? We've got Air Grover, that's right. Did you enjoy it? Fist bump. Fist bump. Ew, let's go.
At number 9, we have Sand Serpent, a Mack Rides Wild Mouse coaster. This is unfortunately by far the worst Mack Mouse I have ever done, which is surprising as Mack Mice tend to be very consistent in ride experience and typically offer a solid, fun family thrill ride. That is definitely not the case with this ride. First of all, it runs much rougher than the typically butter smooth Mack Mice, causing a major problem for me when riding because it's rather uncomfortable. The ride actually dishes out some legitimate pain from how rough the transitions can be in certain areas of the ride. The second problem is the mid-course brake runs completely destroy the ride's second half, with it not uncommon to see the car barely make it into the final brake run. My final problem relates to the extreme braking on this ride. It's just kind of boring. So now that I've ranted a little bit, I think you get my point. I even almost put this in last behind Eric Grover, but again I couldn't quite justify doing that.
As your car comes to a complete stop, gather all personal belongings. Watch your step as you exit to the right and down the ramp. Thank you and enjoy.
At number 8, we have Scorpion, the Schwarzkopf Silver Arrow. Now this is a rare credit in the sense that only 3 Silver Arrows were ever built, and only 2 are 100% confirmed to be operational, although it is entirely possible all 3 remain in operation, although according to the roller coaster database, 1 is standing but not operating as of now. This is currently the only one of its kind in the United States, and many worry its days may be numbered due to its age. The ride experience is quite simple, yet very intense. The ride starts with a 61-foot climb followed by a decent curve drop. This leads into a 39-foot tall loop with the patented circular design that Schwarzkopf made famous. After this, the ride meanders a bit, including a section that threads the loop before entering a very intense downward helix. For a ride built in 1980, the ride does things well given its small stature, offering great G-forces and a thrilling inversion. Overall, I like this ride a lot, even if it is getting a little bumpy. It's still very smooth for its age. So why all the way down at number 8, you may ask? The answer is simple. The lineup at this park is that freaking good. At number 7 is Cobra's Curse, a Mack ride spinning roller coaster. This ride is a very enjoyable and unique experience and is without a doubt a great family thrill coaster. The best thing about Cobra's Curse is that anybody can enjoy this attraction. From kids to adults, it is always good fun. The ride features a forward-facing section, a backward section, and my personal favorite, a free spinning section. Also, the elevator lift and giant cobra statue only add to the ride experience. So why number 7? Well, the reality is, in most parks this would be a top 5 coaster, but the Busch Gardens Tampa lineup is, as I said before, that good. And the biggest problem with Cobra's Curse, in my opinion, is the length of the backward section. I personally believe a helix, and that is it, could have been done better. Other than that, this is a top-tier family coaster and an overall fun for all experience that I highly recommend for anybody who wants a good, thrilling, but not too intense ride.
On a roller coaster. See that? That's how it joins together and makes sure. The sensors won't release it unless it's fully joined. There we go.
I am the serpent. I am
See, that's the only thing you do backwards. There we go. There we go. It's just backwards and upside down you don't like. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you just had to yeah. Oh, there's a perfect view of Montu.
When are we gonna freeze it?
Now. Whoa! Yeah, that's not an inversion.
Why are they turning?
It's not a long ride, but it's a nice ride. It's a good family ride.
These are like so unique. Like, I'm literally so good. They're like, put that in your bag. My bag is full of it.
At number 6, we have Tigris, the premier ride Skyrocket 2 that opened in 2019, just a few weeks after my first visit, in fact. I finally got to ride this in 2022, as well as another new to me credit on this list. These Skyrocket 2 models are solid rides with a great hang time moment and insane ejector airtime on the drop following the Heartline roll, especially in the back row. The intensity is there too, with it being one of the more intense swing launches that I have encountered. Now, the biggest knock on this ride is by far the comfort collars. Now, many enthusiasts think these things are straight from hell. I am not one of them, as they do not particularly bother me. But I will admit, yes, they are awkward, but they are not exactly the most uncomfortable things in the world. Although I do find the name comfort collar to be pretty funny, given the main complaint is they are uncomfortable. Wonder what they were thinking. Anyways, other than that, what is not to like? It's a thrilling, compact, and aggressive thrill ride. At number 5, we have a ride that has fallen significantly in my rankings. and I fear as it continues to age it will continue to fall further. Hopefully a retrack can save this historic and classic B&M coaster. It is of course Kumba. Now what is good is the ride still offers a fun and thrilling experience that is still solid. From the intense inversions to the surprise airtime into the Cobra Roll to the multiple photogenic parts of the ride, this ride offers a ton of cool things. The best inversion on the ride is its zero-G roll, which is also nicknamed the Hell Roll. This is one of the most violent moments on a sit-down roller coaster, as it really whips you through that inversion. So why has it fallen so far in my rankings? The answer is quite simply roughness. My 2019 rides were quite smooth, but my 2022 rides were almost at the level of brutality. I honestly could not determine if I was in a bar fight or on a roller coaster in certain points of the ride. Now I must admit the weather likely did not help as my rides were on a rare below 50-degree day in Florida, so admittedly the ride almost never runs in cold weather conditions like that, and that could have significantly affected the steel in a way that may have caused it to be much rougher. I still find the intensity of the ride to redeem it enough to put it ahead of Tigress, not to mention its length, but overall the ride still holds up in its deep lineup of the park, but may not for much longer if it gets any rougher.
You like that? About as much as Montu? Montu's still better? This one's a little rattly.
Number 4, we have SheiKra, the B&M dive coaster that paved the way for all of the American dive coasters. This was the first time B&M went huge with a dive coaster. With a 200-foot height, this is the park's original hypercoaster, and it is really a solid experience. Now, it is always fair to say that these older dive machines are short one-trick ponies, but no one can deny it's a hell of a trick. For those of you who may be unfamiliar, a dive coaster is a coaster that holds riders over the edge of the main drop using a holding brake. The ride then follows a simple yet thrilling layout featuring an Immelman, a second vertical drop, and also a splashdown that is known to soak the guests in the splash zone off-ride. I must admit that this ride is one of my favorite dive coasters, although I've only done a few to be fair. This ride is one of the most intimidating at the park and for over a decade was the tallest coaster in the park. It also was the first dive coaster in North America. The intensity of this ride is also quite notable. This thing pulls a lot of positive forces and offers airtime in every row as well. There are some who consider this a top 3 ride in the park, and after 2019 it was for me as well, with the other 2 B&M coasters at the top. As is evident, 2022 changed a lot of things, with only one B&M making it into the top 3.
Alright, now we get ready for our 90-degree plunge. But wait. Yep, 90 degrees straight down. Here we... Oh wait! They hold us! Look at that!
Oh my god! No! Wait, no!
You like this? And now another 90-degree plunge! And we're stacking all 3 trains. Congratulations, SheiKra crew. You suck. Alright, here we go. Here you go, guys.
At number 3, we have a controversial pick, as almost all of you will probably disagree with me. It is Cheetah Hunt, the Intamin LSM launch coaster that was the second of its kind to open in the United States. These Intamin launch coasters have very punchy launches and thrilling and well-designed layouts. Cheetah Hunt offers the best of Intamin launch coasters, with its great second and third launches, not so much the first, a couple of moments of ejector airtime, and even a not entirely necessary heartline roll. Also involved are good scenery, a unique wind catcher tower element, and rapid-fire transitions to chop it off. The intensity is more family-friendly than most Intamin launch coasters, which allows it to be fun for a larger audience. The bottom line for me is that this ride is just pure fun, nothing else. The elements are done perfectly, and it really does give the feel of being a cheetah hunting its prey as it darts through the African terrain at 60 miles an hour. That is what makes it a top 3 coaster in the park for me, but the next two are literally guide tier rides, so let's get into the top rides not only in the park, but 2 of the best in Florida as a whole.
Alright, you ready to run like a cheetah?
I'm ready.
Alright, here's my favorite part of the ride by far. Ready? Yep, navigating. Launch number 3. Whoa! Whoa! It's because it's cold, it's running slow. Whew! It's a good ride though.
Like I let a tear out. It was so cold and the wind in your eyes, so I had my
Yeah.
eye. You teared up? Yes.
That's
At the number 2 spot is the park's former number 1 and still a top 5 ride in Florida, none other than the B&M inverted coaster, Montu. This is the perfect invert and one of the top inverts in the world. Many consider this the best of all 32 B&M inverted coasters, which I do happen to disagree with. That is no fault of the ride, by the way, because Montu is still flawless. With 7 inversions, it is one of 3 inverts with 7 inversions. This and Banshee in the United States, and I believe there is a Chinese knockoff invert that also has 7 inversions, although do not quote me on that because I'm not sure a lot about China outside of the major rides. This coaster is a G-force machine as well, and is the second most intense invert I have done, the most intense being Alpengeist at the other Busch park. This ride has absolutely no dead spots and is one element after another with no break except the mid-course brake run that honestly ends up saving some from blacking out after enduring an absolutely bone-crushing batwing element. The intensity is exceeded by few coasters and is quite frankly one of the most relentless rides of all time. But every park in the world strives to top their top ride, eventually, and in 2022, this occurred at Busch Gardens Tampa. So onwards to number 1.
oh my gosh, my legs feel so heavy, all the blood is in them. Yeah, right. I take it back, it might actually be better in the front. It depends on the day with these inverts, whether it runs better in the front or the back.
At number 1 is probably quite obvious to many. It is Iron Gwazi. Now this ride is absolutely insane. Like literally insane. It is in my top 2 at number 2, and it makes me ask the question, what in the hell was Alan Schilke thinking? Or at least that's what I thought at first. Then I realized this was Alan's last hybrid coaster before retirement, and it all made sense. This ride holds absolutely nothing back, offering nothing but insanity from the top of the lift to the final brake run. From the death roll to some of its some of, if not the most insane ejector airtime in the world. The intensity is unmatched by almost any ride I have done. I cannot say enough how perfect this ride is, and it became clear to me that this one was for the enthusiasts. Busch Gardens Tampa knew this ride would be a risk, as it could be too intense for as much as half of their guest target audience. Yet they still went with it. Surprisingly though, the ride still gets high wait times, which means the ride defies logic. Or maybe, as I keep saying, the people of today like insane rides more than ever before. Look at Intimidator 305 actually getting long waits now, among other rides that were previously deemed too intense that are gaining popularity much later in their lives. This ride is epic and is the stuff of legends. And I don't say that about very many things, ever. To see Alan Schilke put everything he had left into one ride is both breathtaking and terrifying. He is a coaster designing madman at times, remember. Look at X2. Overall, this ride is perfection and reminds me of literally no other ride. It is that unique and is the best RMC coaster. Sorry, Steel Vengeance, but you just cannot compare. Thank you for watching another Coasterland video. For more videos and updates, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also remember to drop a like and also add a comment, as it greatly helps with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once more for journeying to the end, and have an amazing day. Peace, guys.